Chapter 8 begins as Richard wakes up startled. In the privacy of his room at Zed's house, Richard begins what turns into a long-standing relationship with baths in the Sword of Truth series. Judging by the temperature of the bathwater, Richard concludes Zed knew when he would wake up. During his bath, Richard notices that his hand has healed much better. Richard finishes his bath, goes outside to have some cheese and a bowl of soup with Kaylin and Zed. They tell him how long he was out for and make sure he's healing well. Richard says that he is healing well except for some itchiness, which reminds Kaylin of similar wisdom her mother gave her one time about healing and itchiness, which reminds Richard of similar wisdom his mother gave him about one time about healing and itchiness. Richard compliments Kaylin on her cooking, and she immediately throws Zed under the bus by revealing to him that he thinks her cooking is much better than his. Richard says that this injustice will not soon be forgotten, and Kaylin goes on to say that Zed would eat dirt if someone else prepared it for him. To save face, Zed adopts the first rule of improv comedy by performing a yes and to absorb the slight and pass it along with an added slight of his own. Yes, I would eat dirt, and she is such a good cook that she could make dirt taste good, and you could learn a lot from her about how to cook. While they're waiting for him to finish eating, Zed employs several advanced interrogation techniques on Richard. Zed uses the read technique of interrogation in law enforcement when he makes a provocative claim in a sinister voice, which Richard recognizes as an attempt to elicit a response that Zed can use to figure out a new bit of information. Zed reminds everyone that Kaylin doesn't like cheese, making this the third chapter where Kaylin's intolerance for solid lactose is referenced. Richard asks if there have been any updates about the next squad searching for Kaylin, and she says that Zed did a cloud reading and told him they ran into some sort of trouble. Richard asks for a confirmation from Zed, and he recites his other catchphrase, true as toasted toads. Richard bites the bullet and tells Zed that he is his friend, he's in trouble, and he needs his help to stop Dark and Rawl. Zed tries to deflect the focus of the conversation back to having him help them find the great old wizard for them, and Richard, in a reveal that would put Jerry Springer to shame, hits Zed with the news that he is the great wizard. Kaylin responds like a nearby angry relative and tries to stand up so she can hit Zed with a folding chair, but Richard quickly makes her sit down, and Zed asks Richard to explain his reasoning. Richard says that Zed has a habit of acting like he's leaving people to suffer the consequences of their own actions, and it's a little suspicious that the Great Wizard was ripping off one of Zed's signature moves. He then recounts Zed's reaction to the news of a quad hunting Kaylin, as revealing his personal involvement with quads having murdered his wife and daughter. Finally, Richard says that he knows Zed wouldn't lie to a woman about being safe in his home, and even though he's old and knows how dangerous a quad is, he still makes this promise. Richard sees through the deception and concludes that he has always known Zed was special, and that he considers the old man to be his near and dear friend who he is asking for him to help in his hour of need. Zed says, I've never been so proud, you got it all right. And I'll be right back. Kaylin needs to rationalize her promise to tell Richard because she wanted to leave immediately after she told him. Zed reminds her that the Seeker chooses himself, and if he names the wrong person, they will all die. Zed pushes her aside so he can finish naming Richard the Seeker of Truth. Richard is given the Sword of Truth. Richard describes the sword as the most beautiful weapon he has ever seen, and how it is a weapon fit for the greatest king. Zed tells Richard to draw it, and when he does, we learn that Richard has gained the ability to summon an anime-style sword unsheathing sound effect whenever he wants. Richard describes this sound as something he has never heard another sword make, a clear metallic ring that hangs in the air. Richard suddenly feels his anger roar to life as the magic of the sword pulls it out of him. Richard describes being barely able to maintain his control without being swept up along with all of the other irrational justifications for anger that commonly plague the mind. Kaylin and Zed both pledge their lives in defense of the Seeker, and Goodkind ends the chapter with Richard using the Clark Kent effect to ask Zed, what in the name of everything good is a Seeker? If you like this video and want to make sure that you don't miss the next one, I invite you to take a moment right now to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications. I would also invite you to join our Facebook group, the official Seeking the Truth About the Sword of Truth Facebook group. Everyone is welcome, but I need everyone who comes to remember that everyone is supposed to feel welcome. I hope to see you there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.